What is up, everybody? Chris Fluke here. Today, we're going to be talking about this nice equation of 2 plus 2 equals 5. I'm hoping at first glance you know that this is not right? We know that this equation is off. This formula is wrong. But yet we accept this formula applied in areas like youth sports, with early sports specialization, and in schools with excessive screen time. Let me explain. In the book 1984, all right, Winston Smith is a character who knows that 2 plus 2 equals 4. But everybody around him is telling him, no, Winston, 2 plus 2 equals 5. And if you speak out against that, if you speak out against the inner party and say otherwise, you're going to be ostracized, you're going to be penalized, you're going to get yourself into a little bit of trouble. So just get in line, man. Follow us. Listen to what we're saying here. 2 plus 2 equals 5, and everything is going to be okay. All right? In youth sports, this 2 plus 2 equals 5 concept, those club coaches, those high school coaches, those sport coaches that are telling you, play only my sport, train all year round, go to the clubs, go to the assessments, go to the showcases, skip playing those other sports, right? If you're that football coach, you're telling that kid, hey, lift with us all year round. You don't need to wrestle. You don't need to run track. Let's get you big in the weight room. You'll be better on the field. That kind of nonsense, right? When you do that, you're going to increase the likelihood of injury, you're going to increase the likelihood of burnout, and you're also going to increase the likelihood of prematurely peaking. Every college coach that I've ever heard a story from wants their athletes to be multi-sport athletes. A lady just shared with me this week, their friend is an assistant principal. Every time a coach comes in from a college, Division 1, 2, or 3, it doesn't matter. They want to know, are these kids playing multiple sports? They want these kids to have a wide skill set so that they could have a higher peak. Wider the base, higher the peak. When you have a narrow focus, that peak is limited, right? Every college coach wants their kids to be healthy mentally, physically, and have room for growth when they're 19, 20, 21, 22, okay? So we have to keep that in mind. Don't follow the 2 plus 2 equals 5 messaging that's getting spit out there in youth sports. Follow what's in your heart. You know what you know. Trust your judgment and go with it. In schools, the science, the literature, whatever you want to call it, all right, we know that screen time is bad for kids. Excessive screen time is bad. But yet, there's schools in the area that do most of their educating on a screen. You want to, take the power away from a teacher, start reducing their role in the classroom, right? They get in the classroom to teach kids, to educate kids. Now you're taking it away from them. It's why you're seeing teachers leave in droves, right? But the problem with too much screen time, obesity rates increase, BMI increases, waist circumference increases, sedentary behavior increases. Physically, the kids are just not doing physical activity. That's a problem. And because of that, screen time, they're not getting good sleep. Their behavioral is affected. Their ways of communicating are decreasing because they're used to just talking on a screen and looking at a screen. They don't look at people's faces. They don't look at people's mouths when they communicate, and this leads to delayed social skills. Attention problems. When you look at a website like Duolingo, I literally heard the guy that created it say, we want to keep people on the app. We want to gamify the learning process to keep people on the app longer. How do we gamify it? We have things blow up. We have a meter there that tells you how awesome you're doing. We send you an email or a text every day saying your 7-day streak is going, good job, keep up the good work, right? All of that stuff reinforces it, gets the dopamine going, wants you to go back to that, right? And it wants to keep you on that app longer and longer and longer. By keeping you on the app longer, your screen time is increasing, right? Lastly, man, these kids aren't getting outside because of it. Their eyesight is being affected because they're focusing so narrowly on one object here that they're not outside seeing the full realm of things, right? They're not, looking in the horizon, taking everything in, getting that depth perception, right? Kids' eyesight are getting affected by this, right? So we all know that this screen time is bad. Or as parents, we're sending the message, hey, we don't want you on the screens. We don't want you on the screens, but what are they doing in the schools? They're doing the opposite, right? The schools are following that 2 plus 2 equals 5 principle, whereas us parents, we know 2 plus 2 equals 4, man. And we're fighting a tough battle there, fighting an uphill battle, but I can't say, hey, just leave the school that you're at, right? We have to find ways to mitigate this. When they are home, I guess it's on you to kind of be present in the moment, right? You want to make things, you want to play with things, you want to create things, you want to read actual books, stuff like that. Try to encourage that kind of behavior, because as I gave the numbers earlier, man, kids are on screens way, way, way too much. And as we're seeing with some of the behavioral issues going on, with some of the attention issues that some kids are having, and lastly, with just the lack of physical activity here, it's at the detriment to the child, right? And nobody wants their kid to suffer kind of some unneeded consequences here, right? So we have to trust our guts, right? Like I'm saying, 2 + 2 = 4. Don't ever forget it. Peace, everybody.